everyone, kumusta po kayong lahat? This is Fil-am News Breaking News, a one-on-one interview with one of the U.S. Senator, Catherine Cortez Masto. Senator Catherine Cortez Masto was born and raised in Las Vegas and has dedicated her life to fighting for and protecting Nevadans. After serving 2 terms as Nevada's Attorney General and Chief Law Enforcement Officer, Catherine made history as the first woman from Nevada and the first Latina ever elected to the Senate. Senator Cortez Masto has a record of working with Democrats and Republicans, always fighting for what's best for her state. In the Senate, she is fighting to bring thousands of new jobs to the state, leading efforts to lower prescription drug costs and holding big oil companies accountable for high gas prices. Please welcome U.S. Senator Catherine Cortez Masto. Please welcome the U.S. Senator Catherine Cortez Masto. Hello.
Dr. Mike, it's great to see you.
Great to see you and welcome back here. And of course, welcome to Fil-am News. Now, Senator, I know you have a very tight schedule, but I have a question.
Okay.
What are you doing to engage with the Filipino community in Nevada?
Yeah, let me just say, I'm so pleased. I'm third generation, and to see our Filipino community grow here over the years has just been fantastic for me to not only be a part of it, but represent this community. Last night, I think it was last night, we were just here for the Kamayan.
Yes,
right?
You experienced
right?
the Kamayan.
Yeah, Kamayan, that was fantastic. And then just all of the work in our community, because I know our Filipino community, there are entrepreneurs, there are frontline, our nurses, our teachers,
Your
there are
educators,
there are doctors. My doctor is Filipino. I mean,
wow,
there's
that's
just
great.
so many in our community, and it's the same thing that every family wants, right? That opportunity to succeed and to really take care of our children and give them a future. So the work that I do gets to really focus on how we address the needs of our community, including access to healthcare, affordable healthcare in this country, right? Making sure that they have access to good education, supporting our entrepreneurs or our small businesses. And I will say, during the last couple of years has been difficult for so many of our AAPI community.
Yes.
And one of the things I was able to work on with Mazie Hirono was the COVID-19 Hate Crime Act, to make sure that we were doing everything to bring essential resources and support for our community at that time. And that was really based on the community members that I pulled together at the time, right?
Yes.
So I'm always engaged in the community, having stakeholder roundtables and discussion. Everything that I've worked on has been informed by our community, including
and
the
not only
community.
that, since I'm the president of the Filipino American Educators, we would like to thank you for your support with the J1 teachers, for their extension. Even it did not happen, at least they feel that Senator Cortez Masto supported them. That was great.
That's right. And thank you. And again, that just shows you in communication, we're all working together. And the work that we can do at a federal level that impacts us locally here. I will always be a part and support our AAPI community. It has grown. It's a powerful
it's
voice,
growing.
right? And Filipinos in this community are just, it's so nice to see that in the culture and the food and just the pride that they bring to our community.
Now, since you discuss about AAPI, the AAPI community has experienced rise in the crimes over the last few years. How are you standing up to protect us?
Yeah, so like every community, we want to have safe communities. And so my fight has been ensuring that I am supporting our law enforcement. At a federal level, I get the ability to ensure that our law enforcement have the funding and the resources they need to keep our community safe. So I partner with them and talk with them regularly. And then, like I said, the COVID-19 Hate Crime Act that we were able to pass in the Senate actually focuses on addressing hate crimes in our community and giving a voice to this issue and putting in Department of Justice. So Department of Justice is focused on this, and their point is addressing hate crimes in our community, particularly against AAPI community members as well. So there's a lot of work that I've been able to do, and a lot of that has to do with my background. I'm former Attorney General here.
Yes,
worked
of
for
course.
8 years, already know our community and working in our community to keep it safe. And I just carry that with me to the United States Senate.
Yes, of course. And I just saw your background. Raised and born in Nevada. So you see how the Nevada grew from the very start, right?
I did. That's why I say, listen, I grew up, my first 15 years of my life in southern Nevada, I lived on Penwood. That was between Arville and Decatur. And right on Spring Mountain, which we know right now is Chinatown, and this beautiful growth, right, of our AAPI community. So I've seen it grow. I've seen it flourish. And just the benefits it's brought to our community.
Wow. My third question. You just passed the Inflation Reduction Act. How will that lower costs for the Nevada families?
It is essential right now because we know these high prices are squeezing our families. And so it is important for me and so many of us really to work on these issues and how we lower costs. The Inflation Reduction Act was the start of it. It really addressed how we lower healthcare costs, energy costs for our family, how we reduce the deficit. It also reduces the deficit. And then it makes the ultra wealthy pay their fair share to cover the cost of it. One of the things I think that our community should know is that it absolutely, for the first time, allows Medicare to negotiate prescription drugs to lower costs for seniors.
Of course.
For medications.
Yes.
It caps the cost of insulin at $35 a month for our seniors. And caps out-of-pocket costs. And starting in January, our seniors will be able to afford their vaccines for free.
Wow, that's great news.
That's right. And so there's a lot in the Inflation Reduction Act that starts that process of lowering costs for families. There's more that we need to do, but it requires us to work together to get it done. And unfortunately, there are people running for office right now that don't care. I have an opponent right now who said he wouldn't even support prescription drug negotiation. Or the Inflation Reduction Act. And so I think it is important for people to really be aware. We're in the middle of an election right now. People get out and vote. We started early voting yesterday, and people can early vote till November 4th. This is a state where it is essential that we want to make sure people can vote in a safe and secure manner that works for them. Wow. And so this is our moment to make sure we're standing up and fighting for our community, including electing those who are going to support us.
I know you have a tight schedule, but can I ask one more question?
Yes.
Now, how are you standing up for the women and their rights in the Senate?
Yeah, so I will say this is the first time I have seen in my lifetime the United States Supreme Court take away a fundamental right of women in this country when they absolutely introduced and passed the opinion that the Dobbs decision that repealed Roe versus Wade in this country. Most people don't realize Nevada in 1990 it became a pro-choice state because voters in 1990 in the state of Nevada voted to codify Roe versus Wade so that women could make that decision for themselves, have that freedom of choice about their health care, reproductive freedom, who their doctors are, who should make that decision for them. And right now, what is at stake is we see the Supreme Court taking that right away.
Right.
We see at a federal level some of my colleagues introducing legislation to restrict abortion in this country. And if that legislation were to pass at a federal level, it would preempt or supersede our state law here in the state of Nevada and take away that right. And this is why it is so important for people to really come out and understand who's there running for office that will support this state and what we have decided as Nevadans. My opponent is opposed to having Nevada as a pro-choice state. He is basically already come out and said that Roe versus Wade is a joke, and that the Dobbs decision was a historic decision for pro-life. What he forgets to remember, though, is that it's Nevadans who made this decision, and this really comes down to a fundamental right of women to make this decision, for the freedom to choose, the freedom to make that decision for themselves.
Wow, that's great. It's loud and clear, Senator Catherine Cortez Masto. Now, your parting words and appeal, especially to the Filipino American community out there?
Thank you, Dr. Mike. I would just say I am honored every single day to represent our community as a proud Nevadan here. But it is a voting. Right now, it matters to get out and vote. Your vote matters here in Nevada. It counts. The races are always close here. We have the opportunity in the state not only to get to know who's running for these offices and ask them questions, but to get out and vote and make a difference in what we want our community to be. I don't think our community should actually pick and choose who wins and who loses. To me, this is ensuring that everybody succeeds in this state. But there are people running for office, like my opponent, who want to pick and choose. And that's what we can't stand for. We really have to fight. And one way for us to step up is to get out and vote.
Wow, thank you very much, Senator Catherine Cortez Masto. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Fil-am News, breaking news.